If you enjoyed this podcast, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. The river we all agree on. Everyone agrees that time moves forward. You wake up, the day passes, and it is gone. Yesterday cannot be touched. Tomorrow has not arrived. This feels so obvious that most people never stop to ask whether it is actually true. The ancient Greeks had two words for time. Chronos was the ticking clock, 1 second after another, in a straight line. Kairos was something softer, the right moment, the felt moment. But it was Chronos that science chose to build on. Isaac Newton made it official in 1687. In his Principia Mathematica, he described time as absolute, a single cosmic clock ticking at the same rate for every object, every person, every corner of the universe. It was a clean, useful idea. It held up for centuries. That confidence settled deep into language and habit. We say time flies. We say it runs out. We treat it like a river with a clear current. But Newton's framework, for all its power, never answered one basic question. Why does that river only flow one way? Nothing in his equations actually required it. So where did the direction come from? The day the arrow broke. Drop a cup of tea and it falls. It smashes. The tea spreads across the floor and cools. You will never see that tea leap back up, reassemble into a cup, and return to your hand warm and ready to drink. This seems obvious, but here is what makes it strange. The basic laws of physics say it could happen. Every equation that describes how particles move works just as well run forward as run backward. Mathematically, there is nothing stopping it. This clash between what the equations allow and what we actually see is called the arrow of time. The laws say both directions are possible. Reality insists on only one. In the 1870s, a physicist named Ludwig Boltzmann thought he had found the answer. He argued that time's arrow was not a law at all. It was just probability. In any large system, disorder is far more likely than order. So things naturally drift toward mess. He called this tendency entropy. But there was a problem buried inside his own logic. For entropy to increase, it had to start low. That meant the universe itself had to begin in a state of extraordinary order. Boltzmann had not solved the mystery. He had simply moved it further back. Why did the universe begin so orderly in the first place? That question had no answer then. More than a century later, it still does not. The clocks that disagree. Einstein asked a simple question. What would the world look like if you rode alongside a beam of light? He was a young man when he asked it. The answer changed everything. Light always travels at the same speed, no matter how fast you are moving. That sounds harmless, but it forces a strange conclusion. If the speed of light cannot change, then time itself must. Two people moving at different speeds will measure time running at genuinely different rates. One clock ticks faster, the other ticks slower. Both are correct. This is not a trick of measurement. Atomic clocks flown on aircraft have confirmed it. GPS satellites must correct for it every single day, or your maps would drift by miles. But the deeper problem is this. Two observers moving differently will also disagree about which events happen at the same moment. Neither is wrong. There is simply no shared now between them. The present moment, the thing that feels most real and immediate, has no universal address in Einstein's universe. Einstein knew what this meant. When his close friend Michel Besso died in 1955, Einstein wrote to Besso's family. He said the separation between past, present, and future is a stubbornly persistent illusion. He was not offering comfort. He was reporting what his own equations had already shown him. The room without a present. In the 1960s, two physicists tried to do something no one had done before. John Wheeler and Bryce DeWitt wanted to write a single equation that described the entire universe using the rules of quantum mechanics. When they finished, something was wrong, or at least deeply strange. The equation worked, But time was not in it, not tucked away, not simplified out, just gone. This is called the Wheeler-DeWitt equation. It describes the universe as a fixed, frozen mathematical object. No motion, no change, no before or after. From the outside, at the deepest level physics can currently reach, the universe simply is. Carlo Rovelli looked at this and offered an explanation. Time, he argued, is not built into reality. It is something that emerges, the way heat emerges from billions of moving particles. Complex systems like human beings, made of countless interacting parts, generate the feeling of time from thermodynamic processes. We are clocks that think we are observers. Julian Barbour went further. In his view, there is no flow between moments at all. The universe is a collection of separate, static nows. Your memory of yesterday is not proof yesterday happened. It is simply a feature of how matter is arranged right now. Which raises the question these two positions share. If time does not exist at the fundamental level, why does it feel like the most undeniable thing there is? The consciousness problem. Your brain does not show you the present. It shows you a version of it, assembled after the fact. Sensory signals from your eyes, ears, and skin arrive at slightly different times. Your brain waits roughly 80 to 100 milliseconds, collects them all, then stitches them into a single moment, and hands it to your awareness labeled now. What feels immediate has already passed. Benjamin Libet made this stranger in the 1980s. He measured brain activity in people performing a simple voluntary movement, a flick of the wrist. The brain began preparing for the movement nearly half a second before the person reported deciding to move. The felt decision came after the neural one. The moment you think you chose had already been set in motion. Philosopher Edmund Husserl argued that the experience of time flowing is not something we receive from the outside world. It is something consciousness builds from within, holding a trace of the just past and leaning slightly toward what comes next, creating the feel of movement through time. Roger Penrose and Stuart Hameroff went further still. Their orchestrated objective reduction theory proposes that consciousness itself is a quantum gravitational process, operating at the very level where the Wheeler-DeWitt equation says time ceases to exist. If that is true, the question stops being which came first. It becomes whether time and consciousness are two descriptions of the same thing. What the silence means. Here is the full picture, and it does not close neatly. Lee Smolin believes time is the most real thing in the universe. Julian Barbour believes it does not exist at all. Both men are serious physicists. Both have built careful, documented arguments. And the evidence, as it currently stands, cannot rule either of them out. Newton, Einstein, Boltzmann, Wheeler, DeWitt, Rovelli, Penrose, and Husserl each worked on this problem. Each left it open in a different place. That is not a failure of effort. It is a statement about the depth of the question itself. Smolin has pointed out something worth sitting with. Every equation ever written, every measurement ever taken, every observation ever recorded was made by someone inside time. We have always tried to describe time from a position that does not exist, a view from outside, from nowhere, from a place no human has ever stood. That habit may be the source of the confusion. So look at the clock on your wall. Feel the present moment. Notice how certain it seems. That certainty has now been quietly taken apart by physics and neuroscience both. What remains is not an answer. It is you, inside the thing you are trying to understand, asking the question. The mystery was never out there. It is here, in the asking itself.